Baba, Bhola Baba, Bhola Baba, Om Namah Shivaya, Shankar Mahadeva, Bhola Baba, Om Namah Shivaya, Shankar Mahadeva, Bhola Baba, Om Namah Shivaya, Shankar Mahadeva, Bhola Baba.
Namaste, Sitaram, a pleasant good morning. Welcome to Rudraaya. I'm your host, Nisha Sharma, and Rudraaya is being brought to you with the kind compliments of Maharudradev Mandir. And of course, the Mandir is located at 850 Tapscott Road, Unit 34 in Scarborough, with Tapscott and McNichol being our closest intersection. So I hope that all of you enjoyed your Valentine's Day, which was, last week, and whether it was your loved one, whether it was your daughter, your son, your wife, your mother, that everyone in your life felt special during this Valentine's Day. It is a unique year that we're celebrating, and the fact that we're always out and about and celebrating Valentine's Day in Pump. This year it's a little bit different. But always look for the opportunity in these special occasions to have that personal time with your loved ones at home. So without further ado, we'll get straight into our pravachan with our spiritual leader, Pandit Ravi Sharma. Enjoy.
While Duryodhana had Vivek, Dharmaraj, he lacked it. And that is why Dharmaraj lost. Uddhav was lost and confused. Krishna continues. While Duryodhana had lots of money and wealth to gamble, he did not know how to play the game of dice. That is why he used his uncle Shakuni to play the game which he betted. That is Viveka. Dharmaraj could have also thought similarly offered that I, his cousin, would play on his behalf. If Shakuni and I had played a game of dice, who do you think would have won? Can he roll the numbers that I am calling? Or would I roll the numbers he's asking? Forget this. I can forgive the fact that he forgot to include me in the game. But without Vivek discrimination, he did another blunder. He prayed that I should not come to the hall, as he did not want me to know that through ill fate he was compelled to play this game. He tied me with his prayer and did not allow me to get into the hall. I was just outside the hall waiting for someone to call me through their prayers. Even when Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula and Sahadeva were lost, they were only cursing Duryodhana and brooding over their fate. Even they forgot to call me. Even Draupadi did not call me when Dushasan held her and dragged her to fulfill his brother's order. She was also arguing in the hall. Based on her own abilities, she never called me. And finally, good sense prevailed when Dushasan started disturbing her. She gave up, depending upon her own strength, and started shouting, Hey Krishna, Hey Krishna, Abhyam Krishna, Abhyam. She shouted for me. Only then that I got an opportunity to save her modesty. I reached as soon as I was called. I saved the modesty. What is my mistake in this situation? Wonderful explanation, Kanha. I am impressed. However, I cannot be deceived. Can I ask you another question, says Uddhava. And Krishna gave him the permission to proceed. Does it mean that you will come only when you are called? Will you not come on your own to help people in crisis? To establish justice? Asks Uddhava. And Krishna smiles Uddhava. In this life, everyone's life proceeds based on their karma. I don't run it. I don't interfere with it. I am only a witness. I stand close to you and I keep observing whatever is happening. This is the dharma of mine. Wow. Very good, Krishna. In that case, you will stand close to us, observe all our evil acts as we keep committing more and more sins. You will keep watching us. You want us to commit more blunders, accumulate sins and suffer, says Uddhava. And Krishna says, Uddhava, please realize the deeper meaning of your statement. When you understand and realize that I am standing as witness next to you, how could you do anything wrong or bad? You definitely cannot do anything bad. You forget and think that you can do things without my knowledge. That is when you get into trouble. Dharmaraj's ignorance was that he thought he can play the game of gambling without my knowledge. If Dharmaraj had realized that I'm always present with everyone in the form of Sakshi witness, then wouldn't the game have finished differently? Uddhava was spellbound and he got overwhelmed by bhakti devotion. And he said, what a deep philosophy, what a great truth. Even praying and doing puja towards God and calling Him for help are nothing but our feelings, belief. When we start believing that nothing moves without Him, how can we not feel His presence as a witness? How can we forget this an act? Throughout Bhagavad Gita, this is a philosophy Krishna imparted to Arjuna. He was a charioteer as well as a guide for Krishna, but he did not fight on his own. Hence, realize the ultimate Sakshi, the witnesser within and without you, and merge in that God consciousness. Discover thy higher self, the pure, loving, blissful, supreme consciousness. May the blessings of the Lord be upon each and every one of you.
दुर्गा ने दियो वरदान हमारी घर रामा बजो कौन घर रामा कौन घर लक्ष्मण कौन घर रामा कौन घर रामा कौन घर लक्ष्मण कौन घर भरत भुआ हमारी घर रामा बजो दुर्गा ने दियो वरदान हमारी घर रामा बजो खेल घर रामा दुष्ट घर लक्ष्मण खेल घर रामा खेल घर रामा दुष्ट घर लक्ष्मण तिष्ट घर भरत भुआ हमारी घर रामा बजो दुर्गा ने दियो वरदान हमारी घर रामा बजो के हालो तावे आनंदन सुनवा के हालो तावे आनंदन सुनवा के हालो तावे बजदान हमारी घर रामा बजो दुर्गा ने दियो वरदान हमारी घर रामा बजो कौशल्या लुटावे आनंदन सुनवा कौशल्या लुटावे आनंदन सुनवा दशरथ लुटावे बजदान हमारी घर रामा बजो दुर्गा ने दियो वरदान हमारी घर रामा बजो दुर्गा ने दियो वरदान हमारी घर रामा बजो दुर्गा ने दियो वरदान दुर्गा ने दियो वरदान दुर्गा ने दियो वरदान हमारी घर रामा बजो
My dear viewers, I hope you've enjoyed this morning's pravachan, and I always like to use a little time for self-reflection. And self-reflection is a good habit to sort of self-improve and sort of get to self-realization, about things that has happened that we could have done a bit better, or to learn from prior experiences so that we improve and we continuously improve ourselves. So throughout the program today, the theme again is going to be, what is the benefit of self-reflection and why is it important to keep improving ourselves? So we'll get straight into our health segment right now with Dr. Sachin Ramkisoon.
Sitaram and welcome to Health Corner. I am Dr. Sachin Ramkisoon, and today we begin a 4-part series on hypertension, otherwise known as high blood pressure. In the first episode, we will discuss how our blood pressure works and various factors that can affect our blood pressure. In our second episode, we will discuss what high blood pressure is and the various negative health consequences of uncontrolled hypertension. In the third episode, we will discuss how blood pressure is monitored, and in the fourth episode, we will talk about what you can do to help reduce and control your blood pressure. Hypertension is when the blood pressure is consistently elevated above normal levels. It is a very common problem, as it is estimated that 1 in 4 people around the world have hypertension. The rates of hypertension increase as we get older, and it tends to be more common in males as compared to females. Hypertension is also more common in areas of lower socioeconomic status, and so varies around the world. On this map, you can see how the rates of hypertension varies by location, with the highest rates being in the poorest areas. Specific ethnic populations tend to develop high blood pressure more than others, specifically the African, Filipino, South Asian, and West Indian populations. In the past 20 years, the rates of high blood pressure in children has also increased. Childhood hypertension is often more difficult to recognize, but is an important health concern since it has many long-term consequences. To understand hypertension, you first have to understand what the blood pressure is and what it actually refers to. The heart functions to pump blood through the blood vessels to all different parts of the body. During each heartbeat, the heart goes through 2 cycles. It first squeezes to push all the blood out of the chambers and into the arterial blood vessels, and then it relaxes to allow the venous return to refill the chambers with blood in preparation for the next cycle. This constant contraction, called systole, and relaxation, called diastole, gives 2 different pressures. When the heart is contracting in systole, the pressure is higher in the arteries. When the heart is relaxing in diastole, the pressure is lower in the arteries. This gives rise to the 2 numbers that are recorded when you take your blood pressure, the systolic and diastolic pressures. This is recorded as the systolic over diastolic pressure, such as 120/80. The body needs a certain amount of blood pressure to get the blood circulating through the body. If it is too low, the blood cannot get to key organs, such as the brain or kidneys, and this can lead to serious complications. However, if the blood pressure is too high, it can cause damage to these same organs. There is a certain blood pressure range that the human body is designed to operate within, and if it deviates outside of this range for too long, this can be dangerous. It is important to recognize that blood pressure naturally varies and can go up or down based on many factors. For instance, when stressed or afraid, your blood pressure is meant to increase. This increase in blood pressure is part of the natural flight or fight response. However, when the stressful situation is over, the blood pressure normally returns down to normal again. In hypertension, the blood pressure is high and does not return down to normal levels. Next week, we will talk more about the various causes of hypertension and what the various health consequences of uncontrolled high blood pressure are. Thank you for joining me on Health Corner, and I look forward to speaking with you again next week on Rudraaya.
तेरे मेरे मिलन की ये रना हो तेरे मेरे मिलन की ये रैना, नया कोई गुल खिलाएगी, नया कोई गुल खिलाएगी, तभी तो चंचल है तेरे नैना। देखो ना, देखो ना तेरे मेरे मिलन की ये रैना। जैसे खेले चंदा बादल में, खिलेगा वो तेरे आंचल में। देखो ना तेरे मेरे मिलन की ये रैना। तुझे थामे कई हाथों से, मिलूंगा मधु भरी रातों से। तुझे थामे कई हाथों से, मिलूंगा मधु भरी रातों से।
My dear viewers, we are at the corporate segment of Rudraaya, and of course, as you know, because of the lockdown that prevails at the funeral homes now, it's just 5. That is the limit, and that continues to be the limit until the restrictions are raised. So we'll now join our host, Kamal Ji, for more information on the corporate segment side of things.
Sitram and Namaste. My name is Kamal Bardwaj, and I'm the owner of Lotus Funeral and Cremation Center in Toronto and Kitchener Funeral Homes and Crematorium in Kitchener. I'm also a licensed funeral director. A prepaid funeral or life insurance, both products are different and differ in benefits that can impact your decision of what option will be best for you. Here is a few differences comparing the two. If you are in poor health, the insurance coverage under life insurance can be very expensive or even denied. For a prepaid funeral, usually there is no medical exam needed, and even if you are in poor health, the prepaid will be approved. Life insurance premiums can continue for as long as you are alive so you continue to pay on and on. Under a prepaid funeral, the premiums stop once the funeral contract has been paid at the agreed cost. There is even coverage under prepaid funeral contracts that will cover the amount outstanding should someone pass before paying all of the funeral amount on the contract. So the family does not have to pay the amount outstanding. A prepaid funeral contract is locked in at the time of purchase, so you are not subject to raising prices. A life insurance is a lump sum payout, which means you have to pay the higher funeral costs in the future because a life insurance has nothing to do with locking in funeral cost amounts. At Lotus Funeral and Cremation Center and at Kitchener Funeral Homes and Crematorium, we operate 7 days a week and 24 hours a day. Our crematorium is located in our building, so we never have to leave our building in cold or bad weather for cremation. Our crematorium space can have a large group of people to attend the witnessing of the cremation as well. For Hindu families, we can provide all the puja items including fresh leaves and a havan kund. We have large halls that can accommodate large seating to smaller ones. We are centrally located for families in the west and families from the east. For more information, please contact me from the telephone number on the screen. Thank you for watching and see you next week on Rudraaya. Sitaram.
Life is beautiful, but death is inevitable. I realized this when my dad passed away. So much pain, and amidst all this, the worry of arranging a funeral. Thankfully, in all this, Kamal stood by me. From the viewing to the cremation, he arranged it all at one location. Once someone is gone, they don't come back. But Lotus Funeral Home knows how to give them a respectable farewell.
Lotus Funeral Home. Life must be celebrated.
देखो हे अम्बे माता तू जो कहे माँ वो सब सुनेंगे दिन रात तेरी पूजा करेंगे सुख हो या दुख हो हम सब सहेंगे हर हाल में तेरी भक्ति करेंगे भक्तों की पीड़ा हरने वाली माँ कोटि कोटि है प्रणाम ओ माता तेरी शरण आए देखो हे अम्बे माता ओ माता तेरी शरण आए देखो हे अम्बे माता तीनों लोगों की तू दानी है माँ अंतर्यामी है तू ज्ञानी है माँ सुख दे के दुख का हरण करो माँ सब जन के अर्चन ग्रहण करो माँ दुनिया की रक्षा करने वाली माँ रोशन रहे तेरा नाम हो माता तेरी शरण आए देखो हे अम्बे माता तेरी शरण आए देखो हे अम्बे माता चारों दिशा से भक्ति आशा से भक्तों के बीत आई ओ माता तेरी शरण आए देखो हे अम्बे माता ओ माता तेरी शरण आए देखो हे अम्बे माता ओ हे अम्बे माता देखो हे अम्बे माता
Viewers, we've come to the end of another segment of Rudraaya, and of course, as I said today, our theme which has been our theme for, the past couple of weeks now, is self-reflection and, self-improvement, self-enhancement, self-realization. And, as Winston Churchill rightfully said, improving ourselves means that we must change. Achieving perfection means that we have to continuously change. So, powerful words, and so true, that, every single one of us, think about it, one thing, that you would like to change in yourself, to improve yourself. And let's decide and let's make the decision to change, right? So as our late Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in this world. And with that, my dear viewers, I'd like to thank our kind sponsors at Maharudradev Mandir, as well as our executive producer, Gari Khan, for making Rudraaya possible. And of course, after Rudraaya comes to an end, we get straight into Masala TV with our executive producer, Gari Khan and Nicola Khan. Until we meet again next week, right here on Rudraaya, I'd like you to stay safe, stay healthy, have a blessed week. Namaste.
Bharati Shri Ramayan Jeki Kirati Kalita Lalita Siyabiti Gavata Brahmadika Muninarada Balamihi Kavi Jnana Visharada Suksanata Dishehisha Arsharada Varmi Pavana Sutagi Ratihiti Zandata Gavat Shambhum Bhavani Kargat Samhavamuni Vigyani Asayati Kavi Punga Bhakani Taka Bishum Garuda Arati Shri Ramayan Jeki Kirati Kalita Lalita Siyati Sarvera Purana Yashtadasha Sahasra Sabagran Dhanapurasi Dhanamana Dhana Sandana Kosaravasa Sarayanja Sammata Sabahiti Arati Shri Ramayan Jeki Kirati Kalita Lalita Siyapiti Kalimalaharani Vishera Sapeki Subhaga Sringara Mukti Yuvati Niruga Bhavumuri Neki Tat Mahat Sab Dede Tulasi Arati Shri Ramayan Jeki Kirati Kalita Lalita Siyapiti Kirati Kalita Lalita